Welcome to Movie Men with Greg and Mr. B. I'm your host, Greg, and sitting across from me is...
Mr. B!
Mr. B!
I'm back.
He's back. Dude, I feel like it's been forever.
I know.
It's like really only honestly been like a week and a half, but like...
Yeah.
But it feels like forever, man.
Yeah.
I missed you, dude. I'm glad you're back on.
Thank you. I missed being on the show. I felt very left out, missing the last 2 episodes. But I'm back. I'm healthy. I'm feeling good. How you been?
I'm good, dude. Christmas rush at work is over.
Nice.
But now there's a bunch of returns and stuff, and then people who got Christmas money are now buying things, so I'm still just as busy. But anyways, I am totally good. I'm ready to talk about the movie that we are going to talk about. And do you want to just get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. The movie that we are doing this week, it's a horror film. We haven't done horror since October.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels kind of good to get back to a horror movie.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
And then very quickly get away from the horror genre. I don't want half of our episodes right now being horror movies.
Well, how about after this episode we do like 10 straight episodes, no horror? Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I want to get into some like good classics after this. I want to do Titanic. You know what I mean?
I think we should do Titanic, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I want to do some good ones. But yeah, so what's the movie we're doing?
The movie we are doing is The Strangers from 2008.
Yeah, that's not from The Strangers. But
What noise is that actually from?
I'm not going to 100% say I know this, but I'm 95% sure it's from Friday the 13th. Is where that first came
Jason.
Out. Yeah.
Jason. Yeah, it sounds like that's probably the movie it fits in.
I'm pretty sure.
Plus, like, dude, I'm so not familiar with Friday the 13th. I've never seen any of the old ones.
Dude, me neither.
I've only saw the new one.
People are going to listen to this and be like, you guys call yourself freaking movie men? But I mean, there's a lot of movies you listeners have to understand. Like, we have seen hundreds and hundreds of movies.
Yeah.
We can't see every movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely need to see those though. Even though we're probably not going to like them now.
Yeah. But I mean, I did like that remake of Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But I had nothing to compare it to though, because I never saw the old ones.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
I'm gonna share this at the end of the show like we always do, but just all the listeners, I want you guys to know I have the tightest movie news ever.
I have TV news.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll wait till the end.
By the way, I just want to do a line from Friday the 13th, the new one.
All right.
The best part of the movie. Do you know what I'm going to talk about?
No.
The main douche guy is having sex with this hot girl.
Uh-huh.
And she's on top riding him and she's naked. And he goes, "Oh, your tits are so juicy, dude."
Yeah. I remember that.
"You got perfect nipple placement, baby."
Who wrote the script? I forgot about that. The listeners are probably like, "Come on, no way." No, that's like exact quotes from the movie. I can't believe it.
I know, man.
My brain kind of just like shut that out after I watched that. I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" It's like the corniest, stupidest line ever.
That's hilarious.
I know, but it's just ridiculous. I know. That should be like in like a comedy. You know
I know.
What I mean?
It's in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Come on now.
If you want to call that a horror movie. The movie's not scary, but
I know. I do enjoy it though. But anyways, let's get back to The Strangers.
Yes.
This movie came out in 2008. That's 7 years ago now? No, 9 years ago now?
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
9 years ago now.
Dude. I graduated high school in 2004, so I'm feeling old right about now.
I have a quick story about this movie, in fact. So in 2008, I was 18 years old, right? Mm-hmm. I lived in Nevada, hung out with my friends, and there wasn't much to do in Carson City. So we would go to the movies a lot, which is completely appropriate for how much I love movies. So we get to the movies one night, and this was back when we smoked weed all the time and stuff. So you know how you would do it? You'd pull up into the parking lot, you'd all smoke in the car or something, and then go straight into the theaters.
Yep.
Because then you're like at the max of your highness.
I did that with beer as well.
Yeah, right? You have to do it right before you get there. Plus, you're not
Yeah.
gonna do it then drive there.
Definitely.
But so anyway, so we did that, and we were like, let's go see The Strangers or whatever. And we went to the theater, and we all bought tickets to the wrong movie.
What?
Somehow we bought tickets because I think one of us went up and bought like group tickets, you know, like everyone gave them like $10 and they all went up and bought
potheads.
Right. No, so we went into the theater and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden these weird credits open, and they're doing the credits with weird music, and there's like clouds in fast motion like flying past the screen. And I was like, okay, that's how The Strangers opens, I guess. And then all of a sudden it was like, The Happening, and I was like, The Happening? I was like, wait, what movie is this? I thought we were coming here to see The Strangers.
You guys left that movie, right?
No, we just watched it.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
That movie is garbage.
It scared me to death when I was in the theaters.
Seriously?
Yeah.
The one with the plants?
I wasn't completely just high. I was on other things, so it was really scary. But yeah.
Jeez, I feel bad because The Strangers is a far superior movie to that.
Right, but I didn't know that. And then I watched it probably only a year later, actually, and that's when I had moved back here, and I had my roommate. Remember I told that story?
Yeah.
Where after the movie finished, she was like banging on the window.
Yeah.
Dude, let me in. I was like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I saw it about a year later, and it's definitely a good movie. The director of this movie is also the writer of this movie. It's Brian Bertino. You ever heard of him?
No, I have not.
Me either. He worked on some films. The Black Coat's Daughter from 2015.
Never
Have you heard of that? No?
No.
The Monster, 2016.
The Monster.
Not Monster, not that prostitute movie. The Monster.
Not the extremely hot movie with Halle Berry. No.
Oh, Monster's Ball.
Oh, that was Monster's Ball. Oh yeah, Monster was with the psychopath Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Oh man, that movie was intense.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of The Monster.
What about the movie called Mockingbird, 2014?
No, but I read the book To Kill a Mockingbird when I was in high school.
Pretty sure it's not the same thing. But if you recognize the cover of Mockingbird, it's like a black cover, and then there's like a guy with like a beard, and he's like a clown. It's a horror movie. No.
I
bet you if you saw a picture of it, you'd be like, yeah, I've seen that picture before. But
maybe. I
you
don't know.
Probably definitely not seen it. I haven't seen any of those movies either. So.
But he hit a home run with Strangers, huh?
I thought so. I thought it was good. So he's the director and the writer. Again, Brian Bertino.
Cool.
This movie stars two people, only two, and that's awesome. Scott Speedman, who plays James Hoyt, and Liv Tyler, who plays Kristen. Okay.
The fuck?
Right? Kristen McKay.
Oh, I gotcha.
Well, that's the name of the character, but you know.
McKay.
You can never say McKay without doing the voice, in my opinion. The plot of The Strangers goes as so. A young couple staying in an isolated vacation home are terrorized by three unknown assailants.
Yes. Oh, man. I want to get into this so bad. I want to talk about my favorite scenes. This movie, oh, man. I don't know if it's the right time, but are you ready to just straight up get into this?
Well, I do want to do some fun facts about this.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to skip it.
So here's a really good piece of trivia I'd like to share. Before filming any scene after the strangers began terrorizing the couple, Liv Tyler would have to run laps, do jumping jacks, and other physical activities to get her out of breath. This was so that she would have the panicky feeling the real-life characters would have been experiencing.
Ah, I like that.
How clever is that?
Yeah, dude. That's real. I was just going to say that. That's really cool.
You know, because sometimes you'll watch a movie where someone's running through a forest, and then they stop, and they're like,
yeah.
And, like, do you ever wonder, like, are they really out of breath, or are they just, like, acting?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder. Also, according to the director, Brian Bertino, the film is partially based on an incident he experienced as a child. One evening, a stranger came to his door, asked for someone who wasn't there, and left. Later, Bertino found out that other homes in his neighborhood had been broken into that night.
Oh, man.
Can you believe that?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, that doesn't really sound like a big deal, but I'm pretty good at using my imagination. That would be so creepy to find that out.
They should have thrown in what age he was.
Yeah.
Like, if he was like a 7-year-old, it's like, dang, that's kind of scary. But if he was like 13, just by himself, oh, man.
Dude.
During filming, in order to get an actual reaction from Liv Tyler, Brian Bertino would tell her where to expect a loud bang from, but then would have the loud noise come from a completely different place.
Dude, brilliant.
Yeah.
That is good. He's obviously like a really good movie maker.
Or maybe Liv Tyler just like sucks and he's like, oh my gosh, I have to trick her in order for her to act surprised.
Dude, this movie is the movie that showed me that she is a good actress.
For real, dude. I completely agree. Yeah, like the only other things that I recognize her from, besides one of my top favorite movies, Armageddon,
Oh, I love it.
is The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
She plays the elf chick or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's very like mystic, so she's not really much acting. It's more just slow talking.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that would be too hard to do. She doesn't cry or anything, you know.
And yeah, but she did good in Armageddon.
Yeah,
I thought, especially at the end.
Oh, definitely.
When he's like, "I'm not gonna come home, baby."
Yeah,
she's like, "Dad."
Yeah, dude, it's not easy to do that.
I know.
And in this movie, it's like when you're watching her, it looks real. She looks scared. I in my opinion, the hardest acting to do would be scared and make it look really believable. You know what I mean?
Really?
Scared with mix of crying. Like, you know what I mean? That's probably the hardest to do.
Yeah, I could imagine. Dude, I think a lot of acting would be really difficult, you know? But you know what? I kind of feel like I've always thought this about myself, you know? And I don't think highly of myself. I mean, I do. I think I'm a good person, you know, and all that stuff. But what I mean is that, like, I sometimes when I see people acting, I'm like, they can't act for crap.
Yeah. Oh.
Sometimes it makes me feel like, dude, I can act really better than that. I bet you I could be a really good actor.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of good actor, really quick, I felt there's one thing that I can think of right off the bat that I really feel like I missed out on when you did the Stranger Things last week with Joey. Not the Stranger Things, just Stranger Things. One thing about that show I really wanted to say, and I was looking forward to saying, is the guy that played the brother.
Jonathan,
yeah. His acting, dude.
Awesome.
In my opinion, he was the best actor in the show. Like when you're watching, like when he runs up to Winona Ryder on the street and he's like, "You got to stop this." You know what I mean? If you watch that episode back, I watched that episode twice. And the second time I watched it, I was looking at his face. Dude, like that is like Emmy nominee like in material in my opinion. Like his face was red. Like it looked real. Like to me, I was like, damn, this dude can act. I feel bad for not remembering his real name, but that guy is a good actor.
Well, you know what, dude? I'm gonna say this. I really appreciated that Joey was able to come in.
Yeah.
And I thought we produced a good episode, really good episode. You know, we were able to, thank God. But I do want to say that, like, I missed having you there because I was really looking forward to, like, hearing what you had to think about Stranger Things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think at the end of this episode, we'll just do a Mr. B segment where you're just talking about your opinions about that show.
Honestly, like right off the bat, I can't really think of anything else that I really want to get out there. But I remember watching it the first time. You've probably done this before. You watch a show by yourself, and then you have to rewatch it with your lady. I had to do that. I watched it. She had to work, and I don't remember why. I was out of work or something, and I watched it. And then she got home, and she's like, "All right, let's watch this." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, yeah.
I already watched it, but let's do it again. I already binge watched like 4 or 5 episodes now, but yeah, let's do it. But anyway, and the second time I watched it, I was just like, I made a point to pause it and like talk to her about it. I was like, this guy's acting is something else. This guy is crazy good. He's a really great actor.
I do that too, man.
he outacted everybody, in my opinion, even the main little boy, even Winona Ryder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yeah, man. I gotta figure out what his name is. I'll in the next episode.
Who?
The guy who played Jonathan Byers. I'll in the next episode I'll go ahead and shout him out, his real name. He's a great actor. I think he's really gonna be somebody.
Somebody to love.
But let's hop back into the Strangers. I didn't mean to get off topic.
It's cool, but no, at the end of the episode, I'm going to ask you who your favorite character was, who your least favorite character was, even though I feel like you just said who basically your favorite character was.
No, actually.
Then I'm looking forward to hearing that. And I still want to know what you would rate Stranger Things.
Okay, cool.
So we'll do that when we're done with everything.
Okay.
But I do have just a few more fun facts, because this movie's got a lot of cool things about it.
Yeah.
This movie, unlike many movies, was actually shot in chronological order. Like, you know how they'll do, like... They'll shoot the middle of the movie, like, very first thing that they do is shoot, like, the middle. And then they'll, like, shoot, like, you know, part of the first act. And then the whole ending. Then they'll go back and do, you know... They shoot it in different...
I've always wondered why they do that, you know?
I mean, maybe some of it could be for, like, costume design.
But just for the actors' sake... Like, wouldn't you want them to be, like, kind of go along with the story and realize how to act at the specific time?
That's what I would always think. And then I don't like that they go back and they edit it
Yeah.
I mean, whatever they do, it's fine with me because they produce awesome movies. But what I'm saying is more so, like, I don't like that they have to basically, like, shoot it and then they mesh it all together and stuff. I'm like, that makes me feel like, it's not authentic.
Yeah, they probably, you know what I mean, with other movies that they do that, they're like, all right, we're gonna do the 17th scene in the movie first, and they're like, okay, and then they're like, we need you to act like this, and they read the script and they memorize it and then they do it, and then they're like, all right, now we're gonna hop to the end of the very last scene, and they're like, you know what I mean? It just leaves the actors out of touch. I wonder if it's
frustrating.
You know what I mean? Yeah, probably. Yeah. That's really cool that they did it in chronological order. I'm sure that Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman liked it more. I bet you anything that they liked that.
Yeah, and along with that, they shot it in chronological order. They also shot the movie with handheld cameras.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say they're like, your $200 Best Buy camera. They're probably pretty good, but they were all handheld, and every single, you'll be able to tell, not one of them was on like a tripod or anything. It was, because every scene shakes.
Really?
It has movement. Every scene has movement.
I just watched it. I didn't catch that. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, it does, huh? It definitely does.
That's cool.
But that's enough of the fun facts for the strangers. I would like to ask you now, who's your favorite character and who is your least favorite character? And you only basically have two to choose from.
That's not true. My favorite characters are the killers. I loved the killers. I love the way they act. Wow. I love how creepy they are. Just the way that, oh man, I can't wait to get into my top 5 favorites.
Oh, me too.
But yeah, without getting into the top 5, I need to just say my favorite characters are the killers.
Okay. Who's your least favorite?
Least favorite character, probably, I don't know, the little kids at the beginning and the end of the movie.
The little Mormons?
Yeah, they're just like, know what I mean? They did a good job. I'm not like bashing their acting ability.
Yeah.
They're just nothing special compared to the rest of the cast, obviously. There's like 6 people in the whole movie. But
yeah. So, okay, my turn. My most favorite character is the guy.
Yeah, Scott Speedman.
Scott Speedman's character. Yeah. He's my favorite because from the beginning of the movie, he's like a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, because like, I guess
he gets like rejected and then he has to, and then he's like, he's still like, she's like, she comments like she's out of cigarettes and he's like, I'll go get you some. And she's like, no, you don't have to. And he's like, no, I'm going to go get you some.
Yeah. He's like, stop. I'm just going to do it.
Because he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like,
and
he
he
cares
like,
about her.
yeah. And he got the whole house like prepared because he thought when he proposed, she would say, yeah.
Dude.
That's gotta be hard, man.
I can't imagine what that would be heartbreaking. And he did, dude, I almost want to switch my answer. I'm on board with you. Like, he did a really good job acting that part. It really seemed genuine. Like, he would just be, like, really down, you know what I mean? But not, like, he's not, like, a bitch, like, crying all over the place, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's like...
a man, you know?
Yeah, it just shows him, like, you can just tell he's replaying the whole thing over in his head.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what happened?
Yeah.
And you can tell that's going on through his mind. Just from his acting abilities. And I thought that was good. But also, a huge reason why he's my favorite character is because I really, really like how he did smart things in the movie. He didn't do what idiots do in horror movies where it's just like they set themselves up to be like tortured. Like this dude, when he found out things were... Well, at first he was like... Liv Tyler was like, they're in the house, there's people here, she came back and stuff. And he's like, no one's here. Right? And she's like, yeah, they took my phone. And he's like, God, she's like, shut up,
Yeah.
Like, I love you, but, like, you're being ridiculous right now. And it's like 4 a.m, like, you're being ridiculous, And then once he starts realizing some stuff, he goes straight to that shotgun, dude.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's like, I need to find this. And he's like, oh, but there's that one part where he's trying to load the shotgun.
Oh, God.
And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I've never loaded one of these before. And she's like, you said you and your dad went hunting.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I lied.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? I'm like, this is not needed right now.
Yeah.
Like that little like conversation was not needed because they never go back to it and it does not change the story one bit.
I agree.
But I do like though that it was kind of real. He's like, I've never loaded a gun. It's my dad's gun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's how I would be. I've never loaded a gun.
I kind of like that. I mean, even though it has nothing, it adds nothing. If you let it, it does add a tiny thing. It makes it more realistic. It makes it more of a realistic situation. You know what I mean? It's something like that. You'd grab a gun and you're loading it, and you would earlier in the relationship lie and make yourself sound more manly and be like, yeah, I've gone hunting. You know what I mean? I'm a man's man. And then later on, like on the spot, she's like, I thought you said you went hunting. And he's like, oh, I didn't. You know what I mean? I haven't. I lied. But I don't know.
No, you're right. I agree with that. But like I said, I like that he just jumped into action. He was like, okay, these people are messing with us. Grab a gun. And he's like, we're going to go into the bedroom and we're just going to kitty corner ourselves. So there's nothing that can come from behind us. We're just going to point a dang shotgun and just out the door. And the first person who walks through is getting the damn head blown off.
And that's exactly what you would do.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
That's what I would do.
For sure.
I would never. But then he does other things too at first before he realizes how serious the situation is. And this is, I believe, before he gets the gun. When he goes out, this is going to be one of my tops, but he goes out and basically realizes that basically people are messing with him. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes him jump in and go back to action.
Yeah.
I guess as I was saying that, I'm like, don't say that because it's part of your top. So,
well, you can elaborate a little bit on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, he goes outside and he sees the people. They're not in hiding. Like they're known that we're going to, we're messing with you.
Yeah.
And so once that happens and he realizes that, he goes in and grabs that gun and prepares. And I like his plans that he comes up with. I like the way he handles his business. And I liked the way he kept his composure in the beginning. So he's easily my favorite character.
It was a way better answer than mine. But
well, you're going to definitely explain your answer
The killers?
Later. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Probably all of my top are going to elaborate a little bit on why those are my favorites.
So my least favorite character, like you said, there's like 6 people in the movie. And none of them really gave me a reason not to like them. But I will have to say that I'm going to say, because since you already said the kids, I'm going to say my least favorite character was her cigarette. Because
That's
those
good.
things are bad for you.
I like that. And
That's all I can say.
And cigarettes are people.
Yeah, they are. Haven't you seen that guy who drags the teenager out of the hall and he goes, "You're coming with me. I want a cigarette now." Don't let this guy control your life.
All right. Can we get into our top 5?
Let me see my notes. No. Because I have some more stuff I want to ask you.
I'm so eager to get into it.
I want to know, what did you really like about this movie? Like, because you said you liked it, so I want to know, like, what do you like about it, and then what gripes do you have about the movie?
What I liked about it the most was the realistic feeling of fear. It absolutely feels, not one thing about this movie feels like it couldn't all happen. Right. Every moment I was watching it, I would be like, I was just scared. I not every scary movie I watched by myself. I think it adds to the experience. This one, I did watch by myself the first time I watched it, at night, alone, in the dark, volume up. Like, it scared the shit out of me. You know what I mean? It was just the feeling of fear, honestly.
Right.
If I may. The feeling of being scared. And the feeling of being scared that it gave me. I really liked it.
So what are your gripes about it, if there are any?
Yeah, the story. The movie is not 100% a true story. I didn't really like specific parts of the end. I'll just put it that way because I don't want to spoil it just yet. I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
What about you?
Wow, I'm not hitting puberty. That sounded like I was hitting puberty. Guys. I think. What I really liked about it is that, it's simple. It's a simple concept. It's just 2 people in the middle of the night getting attacked by creeps in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Even though, let me ask you this. When the main guy goes outside and he's like going to get in the car and stuff like that, you remember all that stuff?
Yeah.
Did it seem like they had neighbors?
No.
They were really out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
I
got the feeling like they were on, like, because I've been in plenty of states in the country, plenty of remote places and rural places where you're driving along a road, like the place that we live in. You're out in the country and you're driving on a long road and you pass a house on the left and you keep going and then you you go a mile and then you pass another house. You know what I mean?
Right.
They probably weren't like really far from another place, but it seemed like just like vacation houses that were just really far apart from each other.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I got.
Yeah, okay. Well, so I really liked how it was like a simple concept about them just being invaded by these three people. It reminded me, I was actually contemplating pairing this movie with another movie because I was thinking of like home invasion movies.
Yeah.
And another home invasion movie is The Purge.
Oh, okay.
The first Purge.
Yeah.
The one that's decent.
Mm-hmm.
But you think about that one, and that's like people like, hi, we're going to try and break into your house unless you give us what we want.
Yeah.
And we're going to kill you. And then the neighbors are like, we're going to kill the neighbors. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? The whole Purge is a whole weird movie. And that's not the same type of movie at all.
Mm-mm.
Even though they're technically both like home invasion movies.
Yeah.
This one was in its own genre, I would say. Like, it's a horror movie, but it's like it's its own horror. It's its own home invasion movie. I don't
Okay.
think there's one that's much like it. Can
Yeah.
you think of a movie that's
No,
like this?
Absolutely not. I agree.
Okay, cool. So I like that it was simple, but it had such an impact because it was all you were doing was just seeing these two people, which you grow to care for really fast, get attacked by people that have masks on, and you don't want
Yeah.
to, see them attack.
Because the characters just seem so real. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like, geez, they don't deserve this shit. You know what I mean?
And they do really good on investing you into the story real
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
You're already, when the movie starts, you're already sucked up into what's going on with them.
Yeah.
You know?
You feel bad for him because he got rejected. You feel bad for her because she still loves him, but she doesn't know. You can't be mad at somebody if they're just not ready for that step. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't like hate her, and obviously you don't hate him. You know what I mean? So you're like, you feel bad for her because of the guilt she must be feeling.
Let me ask you this. You're engaged right now, and I'm married. Mm-hmm. So we both have been through the proposal part of our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Before you proposed to Christy, did you and her ever talk about getting married?
Oh, yeah.
And that you both wanted to get married?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay. When I was with my wife back then, we definitely talked about it.
Yeah,
We talked about it a lot.
me too.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to get married and this and that, have kids and stuff. So it's like when I went and bought a ring, I just need to figure out how I'm going to propose. I
Yeah.
know she's going to say yeah. But I
Exactly.
mean, he also thought she would say yeah too. But, maybe they had never talked about it. Or maybe he just assumed she was ready for it. I mean, maybe they'd only been dating for 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months maybe. It doesn't say.
Yeah.
Like, they should have had a picture because they had lots of pictures and stuff in that house.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had a picture of them too saying, like, 4th year anniversary or something.
Man, that would suck even more if you were together that long and she said no.
Yeah, but that's what would make it suck even more.
Yeah.
But there's those people that get that. What if he's a weirdo, right? And he proposed to her after 2 months of being together? Because
Yeah.
people do that sometimes.
No, I didn't get that feeling.
I didn't either, but I'm
Yeah.
just playing devil's advocate here, and I'm just. throwing
I
some
never
stuff out.
really thought about the exact time frame, but if I had to just the feeling of watching it, the feeling the movie gave me, I feel like that they were together for
A long
a
time.
couple years.
Yeah,
you know?
a couple years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a year or two at
Yeah.
least.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really liked his character, and that's not even what we're on. What are we on? Oh, just talking about gripes of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I really liked about the movie. The gripes that I have about it is that some parts seemed, and this is why I asked you, did it seem like they had neighbors, like houses around them? Because there's a part with a big car crash. It's really loud.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of banging
Uh-huh.
to start off the horror of the movie. So that's really loud.
Uh-huh.
And then you have a bunch of screaming. That's really loud. You have a shotgun blast. That's really loud. And then at some point, they go back outside and look, and their car is on fire. It's in flames. Giant flames.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had neighbors, I'm like, come on, nobody saw this?
Dude, there's places where there's like a house and then no houses around for miles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the kind of house they were at. It must have been,
And then at the same time, a gripe that I have is because I think I would have thrown this into it, and I don't know why they didn't. Two things. One, I don't know why they split up at some point in the movie. Do you remember? She goes to the shed, and he goes, I think, to the car or something. Or he's just running, or he's hiding behind a tree, and then the Scarecrow mask dude runs up on him and knees him in the face and knocks him out. And
Yeah.
at the same time, Liv Tyler's in a shed looking for there's that CB radio in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so that's a gripe that I have. Don't split up. Why would you ever split up?
Yeah.
And two, why didn't they try and just make a run for it and bring the shotgun with them? Like, you see one of those MFers in front of you, blast their face off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it didn't look like any of them had guns. They just had, like, knives.
Because in reality, you'd be more... It's easy for us to just say that. We're not in the position. We don't know what they have in real life.
Right.
You know what I mean? They have no idea if they have guns. They're not going to just run out there and chance it. They want to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's why you should just stay in your room the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they were going to do that. It all goes south, but we'll get into that.
Well, you ready to get into that right now?
Let's do it.
You know what time it is?
It's time for...
Top 5! Good. That one was actually good.
Yeah, I like it.
Really good. I'm feeling like we should do we should just record us doing that, and I'll just insert it every episode so we don't have to keep trying.
No, I like doing it every episode.
Yeah, me too. And then I like our reactions at the end sometimes. Yeah. I'll leave them in.
How come the first time we ever did it, it was the best time? It was like literally perfect. You know what I mean? We high-fived like it was perfect. You know, why? Why the first time and never again since?
Because it's kind of like just think about it in the flow. What time is it? It's time for top 5.
Yeah.
See, like if you just do it in a flow instead of think about it. But what we're doing now, thinking about it.
But I mean, you did honestly when we just did it just then. You did it like a split second faster than I did. You started a little bit before me. You know what I mean?
I had premature ejaculation.
I don't know. I guess it's I guess none of this is a big deal. So,
dude, I want to mention something right now, completely off topic. But I woke up for work this morning, and on the top of my foot, I was like, "Ow!" But you know how guys grow hair on the top of their feet?
Oh yeah.
So I just thought, like when I was sleeping, like my sock like bunched like my hair up on my foot, and it was sore for some reason.
Yeah, that's happened.
You know, but so I woke up and my foot was a little sore, and I was like, whatever. And I worked all day in the rain. That was so bad. And then I came home, and I was like, oh, my foot still hurts when I took my shoe off. And I took my sock off, and I had, like, this big red spot on the top of my foot. And I'm, like, wondering if, like, a spider bit my foot or something in the middle of the night, and it just took till now to hurt. But, like, it was, like, a little white dot. It looked like a pimple. And I was like, well, I'm going to pop that, you know? So, like, I popped it, and that really freaking hurt. But, I have to pop a pimple if I see it.
Oh, of course.
I can't just leave a pimple on my face or something.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh, no, I hate that.
By the way, if you're a listener and you have pimples and they're just like chilling on your body,
pop it,
okay? When you're out in public with people and they see the whitehead on your face,
that's all they stare at.
It's disgusting. I would much rather see like a red crater, knowing like, okay, at least you popped it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
It's freaking nasty when they don't pop it.
It is, especially if it's just right there, like on your cheek or something.
Oh my gosh.
Or like right under your nostril.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, gross. I hate that. But anyway, so my foot was really hurting, and I popped it, and I was like, dang. And then, like, this was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And then I went out to dinner tonight with my wife, and I couldn't even walk, dude. I can't even, like, walk right now. I'm, like, limping everywhere, dude. And I took my sock off, and my whole left foot is swollen.
What?
It's, like, double the size of my right foot right now.
Dude, that's not good.
I know.
You should probably make a doctor's appointment.
Nah. I'm just going to go to sleep. That's my solution. If it's not better by like a day later, and I'm off tomorrow, so if it's not better by the end of tomorrow, then something, because I walk for a living.
You wake up tomorrow and it's not there. You're just like, well,
okay.
That's not good.
Well.
I should have made that appointment. I guess I'm going to call in today.
That's funny. Actually, I just got an investigative interview done on me for calling in too much at work.
Not really.
Yeah. That's what happens, though. Your wife's pregnant, and she needs your help, and you're like, all right, I'll call in.
Yeah.
And they called me, and they're like, you've missed quite a bit of work. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, let's not do that. I'm like, okay.
You're like, yeah, the reason I've been missing a lot of work is it's winter. I've been feeling like crap like everybody else because it's winter. My wife is pregnant. I have a baby. Those are the reasons, so go fuck yourself.
That's what I wish I could say.
Right?
So do you want to do your number 5 first?
Yes, dude. I can't wait. Finally. Yes. My number 5 for The Strangers is, God, I've been waiting to say this. The song, dude. When she's like listening to some like unusual kind of indie kind of tunes. And at one point, oh man, I want to say I actually know the first name of the musician that's singing that song when she like bumps it or something, and it like it's on a record, and it like goes on like a repeat. The musician's name is Joanna something.
Yeah.
I forget her last name.
I don't know.
But that song, dude, like, I don't know how the hell they chose that song and then that specific part of that song to go on, like, do you know what I'm talking about? The scene when it, like, she bumps it or something?
And it's like just keeps repeating the same part over and over
again. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
that was so scary to me.
It reminds me of the song from Insidious. Have you seen Insidious?
Yes, but I don't remember.
It's like, tiptoe through the tulips.
Yes. Oh, my God, perfect, yes.
Yeah.
Dude, we're going to have to pause this real quick. I need to find that song real quick. It'll only just take a second.
Sure.
So I found that song, and that's looping in the movie when she like bumps it, the record player or whatever, and it just starts going on repeat. And this is it.
Creepy,
dude. Ugh. Man, I need to stop it.
Because if you've seen the movie, which I'm hoping you have, if you listen to this, if you have seen the movie, then you know exactly what part that is, and that's when they're just completely getting terrorized in their house.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just something like that. She's already scared. There's people outside of her house trying to get in, and then she's got to hear that on loop for a few minutes. She's just like, that would just not be a good thing to add to her already fear. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, the artist's name is Joanna Newsom.
Oh, okay.
And she's like kind of an indie artist. I've actually, after I watched this movie years ago, I looked her up and I downloaded some of her music and listened to it, and she's pretty good.
Yeah?
And none of it is scary, obviously.
Right.
If you listen to this whole song, it's not scary at all.
It's just in a scary movie, and it's creepy sounding in a scary movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, because honestly, when I listened to it, it sounded creepy because I knew that it was in this movie. But none of her music is creepy. But anyway, dude, like that would be... I can't really explain it. Whoever's responsible for this part of the movie, for putting that specific part of that specific song that not a lot of people in the world have heard, hats off to you. You're a genius.
Good job.
Super creepy. Anyway, that's my number 5, is that specific scene. What is your number 5?
My number 5 is when you see the fire alarm, or the smoke detector, I mean, when she takes it off of the ceiling. She sets it on the ground.
Yeah.
And then she goes off and does a scene, and then it shows that smoke detector again, but now it's set on a chair.
Yeah.
So you know that the guy is in the house.
Or was.
Was at least in the house.
Yeah.
Because it was moved. Mm-hmm. And when she realizes that, it just becomes scarier.
Yep.
That's my number 5. So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is when it's not a scary part, when they're at the place. I think he returned from getting the cigarettes. No, he didn't yet. Before he leaves, they start like making out.
Oh, they're about to do it.
Yeah, and they're like, it's like an emotional scene, and they're like both sad, and she's trying to comfort him because he's just like really sad, and they start making out, and he says like, "Are you my girl?" You know what I mean? It's just hella realistic. I just hella liked that. It was just realistic and really emotional, and it seems like something that would really happen. And then they get interrupted, unfortunately. But
yeah, they do.
That's it. That's my number 4. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is when the character James,
his friend
in the beginning, he calls his friend, because he doesn't want to be like around Liv Tyler. Mm. He doesn't want to be around Kristen. I'm gonna call her Liv Tyler. That's more memorable than Kristen.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really want to be around her, not because he doesn't love her or anything, but he's so embarrassed.
Yeah, he's just
so embarrassed from the proposal that he calls his friend and he's like, "Hey, as soon as you can, whenever you can you come pick me up? I'm in the middle of like nowhere at my parents' place, and I just got to like get out of here. Can you come pick me up?" And he leaves a voicemail.
He even says, I think, like it didn't work out or something like that.
Yeah, it didn't go the way I wanted it to, or something like that.
Yeah.
You're probably right. So then, like later on, the friend finally gets the voicemail, and he shows up at the house. And he's like, "Hey," and he calls the guy's phone, but the guy doesn't have the phone. James does not have his phone.
Yeah.
So his friend leaves a voicemail, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, I'm here to come get you. I'll come bail you out and stuff like that, right?" Mm-hmm. He's like, "I'm only doing this because I love you, man. You're my best friend." That kind of stuff. Mm. And then as he's approaching the house, he sees the car that's all destroyed and the truck that's like beat up.
Yeah.
And he sees the front doors all broken down and everything, and he like starts walking in and hears that song playing, and he turns off the music.
Yeah, you hear like
Yeah, and he
like
turns
it
it off,
stops.
and he's walking through the house slowly, like, because it's all trash looking, and he's like, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
Right, and he's like walking through, and while he's doing that, the two main characters are kitty cornered in the bedroom with the shotgun pointed at the door.
Yeah.
To shoot whoever the bad guy is who walks in front of the door.
Yeah.
So they don't know that his friend is there. The friend doesn't know that they're there with a shotgun, and as he's walking down the hallway, it's actually, there's another part of this scene, if you remember. As he's walking down the hallway, the main bad guy with the sack over his face
Walks up
appears
like behind him
with a knife, and or something.
Yeah.
And he's going to either stab him or hit him. And he walks up, and the friend stops for a second. And you know he's about to get killed by this guy. And he turns his head to the right, like over his shoulder, but then doesn't fully look.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like he pauses and then takes one more step. And that one step is him walking in front of the door frame. And the main guy, James, boom, blasts his head off
Yeah.
with the shotgun. And they think at first that they got the bad guy. They're like, okay, you know, they're not like, oh my gosh. Well, he realized it was his friend immediately.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God. And Liv Tyler's like what, you know?
And he's like, don't look. And
Don't
he
look.
like tackles her. He's like, don't look. Because she tries to like look.
Yeah.
away.
And then she's like, get off of me. And
Yeah.
it's like, why are you, dude, you guys are in this together. Why are you even acting like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. She was kind of, iffy sometimes throughout the movie. But
Yeah.
it's that whole scene where he shoots his friend because, like, you think the friend is like, the friend has a cell phone. The friend is there. He's not some scrawny looking dude. He's like a, you know, medium sized, average looking dude. He could probably take a bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, and you think he's going to get killed by the bad dude, but then he gets killed by his friend, and you're just like, oh my gosh, dude, he was there. You know,
Yeah.
he was like, that was like your only hope right there. You know, that was like a third person to fight these guys with, and
Yeah.
you just killed him.
Yeah. And not only that, he was one of your best friends.
If not your best friend. So,
Yeah.
like, I mean, dude, think about your best friend. I'll think about mine, which is you. So, no, but I'll think about my best friend, right? And imagine killing them on accident while you're being terrorized by something.
I can't. That would be unbelievable. That would just add to it, like, you know what I mean?
Like, if your night wasn't, like, bad enough.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now you just killed your best friend
Yeah.
by blasting their head off.
It's like, oh my God, I have to deal with this extreme, you know, sadness and grief.
And
But-
to get
but
out of-
first, I need to get out of this life or death situation first.
Yeah, and to get out of the room, I have to basically walk over my dead best friend who I just killed. And there's,
Yeah.
like, blood all in my hallway from his head.
You like blast his face off. Yeah, dude. That was a really crazy scene.
That's my number 4. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is honestly, it's difficult for me to choose my favorite scenes in this movie because I liked so many scenes so damn much. But for my number 3 is probably the first time that she goes face to face with the mask guy
Through the window?
through the window.
Right.
When
That's my
she-
number 3 too, so let's both talk about it.
Cool. When she opens up the blinds or the drapes and he's right there and she screams, like that was just like the moment. Like there's a dude, like he's
No
messing
more
with you.
hiding.
Yeah.
He's like,
Like
he made himself present.
Yeah, and like that's the moment she realizes this is a freak who is really messing with me. Why the fuck is he wearing a mask? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is a psycho. You know what I mean? Not just some kids or something outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would be horrifying.
And it's a great jump scare.
Yeah,
It really got me.
And honestly, the mask is not my favorite. Everybody knows our favorite mask ever.
Ghostface.
Ghostface. But dude, this mask, scary. Like there's
Did it not remind you of Batman?
Little bit.
The Scarecrow, though?
Yeah. Well, that movie came afterwards. So if anything, the Scarecrow mask in Batman reminded me of this guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. It was very similar. But there's 3 different masks in this movie. But I don't want to get into that. Just that part. That's my number 3.
Yeah, that's my number 3, too. It was really scary. That was just that, like I said, that moment where you realize that this isn't like anybody hiding anymore. This is game on.
Yeah. And another thing, like she's forced to realize at that moment there's more than one person. She doesn't know how many exactly, but she came face to face with a girl at the front door.
Yeah.
Not face to face, but she knew that there was a girl. And
Involved.
this person is obviously a man wearing a mask.
Obviously.
And I'm sure as a female that would be terrifying.
Yeah,
you know what
especially alone.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's 6:30 in the evening. This
Yeah.
is like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. It was like super early in the morning.
We'll talk about that.
Oh man,
That'll get brought up.
Yeah.
So what's your number? What's your number 2?
My number 2.
Yeah.
My number 2 was actually what you mentioned earlier when she sees the alarm sitting on the stool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she realized that they've been in the house.
Yeah.
And there's not really too much I can say. That was just, you see her reaction. That would be horrifying, just to realize that they were in here and they're fucking with me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, like I said, I've got a good imagination and I can really feel, like really put myself in the shoes.
Yes.
That would be so scary. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, man.
yeah, if they had somehow maneuvered their way silently around you in your house when there's not a sound in sight.
Yeah, and you see it and nothing happened. The door's closed and you're like,
I would
know what I
instantly,
mean?
I'd probably instantly, like, this sounds cartoonish, but I would just start spinning in circles. Like,
Oh, yeah.
where are they? Where are they?
oh
You
no,
know?
I completely agree. Like you'd become a basket case. You'd be like, they're in here. You know what I mean? Like looking everywhere, all around you.
I would honestly coward, and I would just like sit
Totally
on the
agree.
couch, and I would just be like, rocking back and forth.
I'm gonna try to think of what I would actually do if that happened to me.
Yeah.
I would probably, honestly,
Yeah.
I've seen so many horror movies. I think this is what I would really do. I would immediately go out the front door and start running down the road
As fast as you
as
could.
fast as I possibly can. And then probably like dip into some side area in the forest and sit there until it was
Hide.
light outside.
Yeah.
Or until I saw headlights or some shit. Honestly, that's what I think I would really do.
But so that wouldn't go through your mind that what if I open the front door, take 2 steps down, and one of them's standing right there?
I don't know.
Because that girl's at the front door.
I'm trying to think, like, what I definitely wouldn't go sit on the couch in the living room.
I know.
Where people can come from all around me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to handle the fear of just going to a room and sitting there.
Or realistically, you'd probably do what Liv Tyler did, and she went straight to the kitchen and grabbed a giant butcher knife.
Yeah. You're right. I'd probably do that first. I mean, of course I would do that first. I'm an idiot. Of course I would do that first. And then I think I'd really run outside.
Yeah.
Maybe like go to some bedroom, look out the window, open it, fucking crawl out and sprint my ass off.
Yeah.
And just some random
Just a
ass
fighting
direction.
chance.
Just some random direction. They're not going to be able to find you if you're sitting out in the middle of nowhere, like under a log. You know what I mean? Like in
Right.
the pitch black darkness forest. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what I would do, honestly, I think. What would
Right.
you do? Before I want to know what you really think you would do when you saw the alarm sitting there.
When I saw the alarm sitting there, I think the only thing like I could do would just be like to try and protect myself. Like I probably would grab a knife, or the first weapon I could grab. In my case, it'd be my Negan bat in front of me. Yeah.
Okay, but
In their case,
you're in her shoes.
Okay, I'm in her shoes.
Yeah.
I would grab a knife and I would go run to that back. I would do what she did, and I'd run to that back room, or I'd run to like the bathroom. To be
Yeah.
honest, I wouldn't run into like a room where there's a bunch of windows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably run into the bathroom and just shut the door.
Would you really? Because that's putting yourself in a situation where you're most likely gonna have to confront them.
But I have a knife.
But still, the just knowing that you're gonna have to defend yourself, that's scary. I would want to skip that part of it. I'd want to just freaking leave that place.
I probably would. I'd probably, like you said, would run. I would open the front door and just have my hand sticking straight out with the knife sticking straight out and just run. So that way, if someone hopped out, I might stab them or something. Or I'd be like whipping my knife back and forth, like waiting for somebody to, like, not waiting, but as I'm running, if somebody were to turn a corner, I'd be like already like you know what I mean?
I'm going to stick with my original thing. If I saw the alarm, I would probably assume right away that they're not outside, that they're inside.
Yeah.
And I would probably have the balls, honestly, to just run outside and sprint my fucking ass off.
Yeah.
That's what I think I'd really do.
It's one of those situations, though, where you
Yeah.
wouldn't know until you're in the situation.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part.
All right, so what number are we on?
2. My number 2.
Let's do it. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is... It all kind of going around the same time frame in this movie. It's when she's standing there and she's in the kitchen. She's like slowly walking around the house, playing her piano one key at a time and stuff. and she's walking around. She goes into the kitchen, and she's just standing in the middle of the. I don't know where she's standing technically, but she's in the house somewhere standing, and she lit up a cigarette, and she's standing there smoking a cigarette. And in the background, you can see in the hallway,
and they just appear right there.
It's just the guy, and he's wearing the mask, and
I think she's standing in the kitchen.
I think you're right.
Smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, I know she's at least facing away, smoking a cigarette
or drinking. Oh, she's drinking a beer. That's what she's doing. She's drinking a beer. Yeah.
Oh.
She's sipping a beer. Yeah. I'm 90% sure on that.
Yeah. I don't know. I could just see her doing both. So I don't know. But she's standing there doing something, not paying attention, and she's just kind of zoning off. And then you see the guy. He just walks.
I don't think it's the guy.
It is
one
the guy.
Of the girls.
I'm for sure.
It's the guy.
100% sure. It's
okay.
the guy. Yeah. And he walks out, and he's wearing like a black outfit with that tan Scarecrow mask. So you really you see him appear out of the shadows.
Yeah.
And he just stands there.
Watching her.
And he's watching her, yeah. And it's not for just a second, and then it zooms in on her, and then he's gone again.
Yeah.
He's just literally standing there.
Yeah.
For a good amount of time. And in reality, he probably was standing there for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a long time if you just think 30 seconds. It's really long, actually. And he's just there, and I think he actually takes a few more closer steps to her, and then stands there again and is staring at her. And then eventually he just kind of goes back down the hallway because he's not ready to just reveal himself. He still wants to mess with her.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2 because he's in the house.
Yeah.
There's none of this creepy girl out front. He's in the house now.
And she's still calm. She doesn't even know.
Yeah. And he could just take her right there, but he doesn't. So,
yeah.
Oof, man. That's my number 2. I'm pretty sure we have the same number 1. But I'm just going to say, what's your number 1?
You're wrong. My number 1 is your number 2.
Ooh.
I remember that scene very, very vividly. I watched it on YouTube. Just that scene. Probably a handful of times since I saw the movie because
it's creepy.
That is in my top 5 scariest scenes of any movie I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, dude. She's standing in the kitchen. She's got her back turned. And I do, unfortunately, have to correct you. I'm pretty damn positive on this. He moves into the frame, into the camera view in the background, but he doesn't take another step. He just stands there. And she's just sitting there chilling, drinking her beer. And you're just like, oh my God, there's a guy in the house. He's standing behind you. The writing, whoever wrote that, genius. I say this in every episode, but I really appreciate this shit, whoever thought of that.
He's the writer and director.
Yeah, dude. Brian Bertino. Good job, man. That's real horror right there. That's scary shit.
Yeah.
That's realistic scary shit, not ghost and goblin kind of shit that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could happen.
It's home invasion.
Yeah.
It's real. That does happen.
Yeah.
And who says that they're not wearing masks like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To not show their face.
And the way that the guy in the mask acts, he just moves into the frame and doesn't rush her, doesn't run up behind her, doesn't get closer. It shows a different camera angle and then goes back and he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my God, she doesn't even know. You're oh my God,
Yeah.
That's easily my number 1.
And then it makes you think, what's the next thing that's going to happen?
The movie was fantastic. There's lots of scary scenes. Oh God, I'm sorry. I have to mix my number 1 with that. And one quick other little thing.
What?
When she first answers the door.
Okay, that's my number 1, so let's talk about it together.
And she says, yeah, let's do that. And she says, what's the name she asks?
Oh, dude, I knew this. And now, Tamara, I think.
Tamara, yep.
I think.
You're right. I don't even need to look anymore.
I'm right. Yep, I just looked it up. So how it begins... You've kind of mentioned this, how that part begins, is that's after the main guy is embarrassed and stuff from what happened, and they start having that sex scene where he throws her up on the counter, and she starts she's about to whip his dick out, right? And, and right when they do that...
It's not cool to hear stuff outside of our studio when we're doing a horror movie.
I know, I'm Ugh. But right when they're about to do that, and she's about to whip it out, that's when boom, 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 or boom, boom. I think it's more like that.
Uh-huh.
2 loud bangs.
And they're just whoa.
And that's how I know what time it is, because he looks at it and he's like, what the fuck? Right? And he looks at the time. He's like, it's like 4 in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
What is, who's this?
And we're in the middle of nowhere.
And we're in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. So he goes and he opens the door and it's dark. remember he tries to turn the porch light on and it doesn't turn on.
But the girl's there.
And she's standing there and she's
not
she's
wearing a mask.
No.
And you can't really see her face, though.
Because she's in the dark, and she goes, "Is Tamara home?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Who?" And he's like, "Is Tamara home?"
Yeah.
And he's like, No, she's not," and stuff. Like, "You have the wrong house." And then she's like, "Oh," and then like leaves. And
she's like, "Are you sure?"
Oh, yeah, are you sure?
He's like, "Yeah." He's not afraid. He's like weirded out. He's like, "The fuck? Yeah. She doesn't live here." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell that he's not scared. He's just like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah, she
and that's
doesn't
realistic.
live here.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay," or "Oh," and then she leaves, and he steps out and he twists the light bulb, and the light turns back on. So.
And then he leaves.
And then he shuts the door first.
Yeah.
And he comes back in. And he was just like, "Should I go like ask her if she's okay?" You know. Mm-hmm. And she's just like, "No, like F that," right?
Yeah.
And so.
Then he leaves to go get the cigarettes.
Yeah, because it ruined the mood. No, they're not going back to sex, you know?
Yeah.
And so he just that's when he's like sitting there, and I think he's on the couch, and he's just like bummed, or he's at the table or something. I think he's at the table, and he's eating ice cream.
Yeah.
That they were going to have, and he's eating it out of the jug, or whatever it's called, carton.
Yeah.
And Liv Tyler's like, "I'm out of cigarettes," and he's like, "I'll get you some." And she's like, "No, you don't have. And he's like, "No, just to stop. Yeah, I'll go get you some, right?"
Yeah.
And he leaves, and that's when the shenanigans happen, and that's when she's by herself.
And she comes back to the door.
I think that's after you see the Scarecrow guy come in, and he's looking at her.
I don't think so. I think before that happens, the girl returns to the door. That's like the first scary thing that happens, because she's sitting there, and I'll never forget Liv Tyler's excellent acting when she knocks again, and she's like, she jumps, and it looks hella realistic.
Yeah, and then it zooms in on the door.
Yeah, she goes to the door and doesn't open it this time because she's alone, and she's like, "Hello," or whatever she says, and she goes, "Is Tamara there?" And then the music also kind of changes, and that's like the music changes in a way that kind of incorporates the way Liv Tyler is feeling at that time. Like, she's messing with us. There's no way that she's going to ask the same question. Why is she back? Why would she ask the same question?
Yeah.
And that's just scary. Like, just, ugh. I literally just got goosebumps thinking about it.
That's good.
I
love when that happens.
Yeah, that would be so scary.
It would be terrifying, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're by yourself and you're a woman. I'm not trying to generalize or anything. You know, there's strong women, but I like, you know, I'm trying to imagine, you know, she doesn't seem like a strong woman.
Yeah, she's like
James is the strong.
She's like a girly girl.
Yeah.
And like, again, we're not trying to be like
chauvinistic or anything.
Yeah. Like stupid men that don't think women can handle themselves. That realistically, like a woman would feel scared.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I would.
Scared. I'm a guy. Yeah, right. I would be just as scared, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah. And
so then she starts banging, and that's when stuff starts going out of control, because that's when she keeps banging more and more, right? And that's when she also realizes that the smoke detector has been moved, and she grabs the knife and she's holding it, and there's more banging, and she screams. She's like, "Go away!"
Yeah.
And she screams, and then that's when she ends up in the back room.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that's when she's like up looking out the window or something, and then she sees the Scarecrow guy.
The record gets knocked over.
Yeah, because she gets scared. That's when she screams and hits the thing.
Yeah.
And that's a horrifying part. And then she ends up in the bedroom, and she has like a huge gash in her hand. Mm-hmm. Remember? And then she's like crying and waiting, and she's ready to stab whoever comes in. And then you hear like the slow foot. You hear the door open and shut.
And then the music stops.
And then you hear the slow footsteps. Doof, doof. And you're like, oh my gosh.
Please be the guy. Please be Scott Speedman.
Yeah, and then he just walks in. And you're like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
And she's just like scared and just like, what's going on? Right?
And her reaction is pure realism. Like, just she's just like, there's a guy with a mask, and he's like, a mask, and she's like, I don't know, a fucking mask. Like, she gets mad because she doesn't want to explain herself. You know what I mean? She's terrified. Yeah, and that's totally realistic.
I'm glad you remembered that, because that is what like exactly what she says.
Yeah,
yeah. So that's really good. So that's my number one. I really like that whole knocking on the thing, because it really changes the mood of the story and the movie. And then it gets into the whole part where they're being attacked and stuff, and then they start like breaking down the door with like an axe, and they throw a piano I believe up against the wall, and you can just see like the girl mask, because there's a guy and there's two girls, and the girl like kind of like puts her mask in front of the hole, and it's like scary. Remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's my number one. And this isn't one of my number fives, but I don't want to like not have this part in it because this is a part that I really enjoyed. It's when James, you know, he goes outside to go to his car because he like left something in there, like a charger or the keys or a phone or something. Can't remember. And he goes back out to the car and it's like tires slashed. The windshield is broken.
Yep.
It's all jacked up, right? And he was like, oh my gosh. And he's like crouching into his car trying to get something off the floor. And you see a hand.
The phone.
It's the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then his hand is there's a hand slowly going up behind him to grab his shoulder.
Yeah.
And you know how horror movies do that all the time?
Yep.
And you're like, oh my gosh. And then it's like, ring! And it does it. And they're like, oh! And they turn around and it's like, hey, what's up? Like, and he's like, God, you scared me. Like that's usually what happens. But in this case, it actually was one of them. It was one of the girls, I believe. Yeah. And she just grabs his shoulder and then you can hear the steps. She's like running away.
Yeah. And he turns around and he's like, ugh! You know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
doesn't even show her anymore. You're just like, oh my gosh.
I believe he has the shotgun too at that point because he like flips around and he's like pointing the shotgun out the door.
Yeah.
But she already ran, took off running.
Oh, man.
And then like right at that point, he like gets in his vehicle. He's like, F this. And he gets in there with Liv Tyler and they're like, we're just going to drive. And they get in and they get bashed by the truck, and they're just like trapped in there, and it's like, oh God.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't want to like just not talk about that part.
This movie's fantastic. It's really difficult to not talk about every part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. So now I want to ask you, what would you rate The Strangers out of 5?
4.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. Why?
Because talking about it, like without talking about it, honestly, I would have probably like just out of not really remembering. I watched it like within the last few months, and I probably just wouldn't have really remembered everything as well as I would have because we just talked about it. So I probably would have said like 3 or 3.5.
Okay.
But I'm remembering how scary it was.
Yeah.
And it deserves it. It deserves a 4.
Well, I would give it a 3.5.
Really?
And that's because it's scary, but there's some slow parts that were meant to be scary that I didn't find scary, and it was that whole scene with Liv Tyler in the shed, or wherever she is, the barn, the shed, and she's like trying to communicate on a CB radio, and then she's like running, and I don't know, I just felt like that part was kind of unnecessary.
They kind of, honestly, this movie's not a perfect horror movie.
No,
the horror kind of goes away towards the end, towards that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as scary as
it's more of like survival.
Yeah.
You know, and then the whole ending scene where they get killed and stabbed and stuff.
She doesn't get killed.
She doesn't, and that's spoiler, that's like the very last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
And but as they're tied up. The two main people are tied up in chairs, and then the 3 strangers are in front of them with their masks on. Then they take their masks off.
And you don't get to see them.
No, you can kind of see their reflection while they're driving away at the end of the movie, but no.
But damn, I liked that they didn't show their face.
Yeah, because you don't want to see a guy who's like not intimidating looking.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's like not scary anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, so
you can always humanize a face.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could see his face. Even they could have made him all disfigured with cracks all over, scars all over his face, and you'd be like, "Oh man, he's fucked up." But still, like, I know what he looks like now. It's not as scary.
Right.
And they didn't give.
And
that
they leave the mystery. So yeah, I definitely like that. And but that whole Liv Tyler scene was kind of a little to me, and it kind of slowed down. But at the end, when they're stabbing him and stuff, I think they were going for creepy and horror, but I really didn't feel that at all. I kind of just kept feeling like, don't kill them. Don't kill them.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, you know, that part where they're like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And she's like, because you were home.
Yeah.
Like that, maybe that was meant to be scary, but I didn't feel anything off that. I was just like,
either.
All I felt was like, dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Me too.
No, but not like, oh man, like that was a gut wrench. No, like it didn't do that to me.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, I think that is what they were going for.
I think they could have made the ending more scary. I totally agree.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you're right. I think I might have to knock it down to a 3.5 just because of that too.
I mean, I have like some really top horror movies, and that's not one of them. Like, I really do enjoy it, but it's not one of my top horror movies.
Yeah.
It's just one that I enjoy watching time to time.
If we did Lights Out.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I just watched that. That movie was like, I'm 30 years old. When I was done watching that with my preteen stepdaughter, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
That was scary. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That movie was scary, man.
Yeah, that was good.
But
I really liked it.
We'll do that one in the future.
Eventually. But yeah, I love that movie as well. It's scary as heck. So that's probably above The Strangers to me.
You think so? I'd say they're on par with each other.
Yeah, I would say so too. Yeah. But yeah, 3.5, 4 and 3.5. Or you change it.
I'm gonna change mine 3.5.
All right, so we both agree 3.5.
Yeah.
Out of 5. I think that was a pretty fair rating.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Really scary, really good.
Cool. That was The Strangers. Woo! Good, man. I'm glad we got to do that. I love that movie, and I'm really glad we got to talk about it. So cool. Now let's get into just the amazing news that you have, a.k.a. movie news.
Okay. Well, I have 2 things. One of them is the really exciting news that I'm excited about. Not everybody's going to be this excited, but I am. And the first thing, I'll leave that one for the second one. The first one is The Strangers 2.
Oh, really?
Is being made.
Oh, what?
Yeah, with the same killers.
Yeah.
And Liv Tyler is supposed to make a cameo, but she's not going to be the main character.
Okay.
So that's very interesting. I really wonder and hope that it's as scary as the first one. Hopefully scarier. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I always hope for the best. I'm not a negative person when it comes to movies. Like, oh, it's going to be shit. Every time I go to see a movie, I'm like, I want to like it a lot.
Me too. Yeah, me
you know
too.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I really want to like it. I look for things to like. But anyway, my second thing, the thing that I'm super excited about is the Cult of Chucky, the new Chucky movie coming
really?
out. And the reason why I'm excited is because you can't be too surprised that a new Chucky movie's coming out.
Kinda.
There's like 7 movies. But the reason why I'm excited about this one is because it's a direct sequel to the last one, which is The Curse of Chucky.
But Chucky gets killed by Andy.
That was like a bonus scene that I don't think you're supposed to take seriously.
Or maybe they'll put them together again.
I don't think that was really supposed to be taken as an actual scene of the movie like it happens in the story. Okay. It's like a bonus thing.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm excited about.
Okay.
It's a sequel to that, and I thought the first I'm not gonna talk about the other movies. They're kind of silly to me. This last one, The Curse of Chucky, I thought was silly, but scary. Okay. I did think it was scary.
It went back to the roots, like you'd said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one is a sequel. They're not fucking around. They're not going to try to make you laugh. It's going to be scary again.
Good.
And this time, Nika, the main character that was in the original in the wheelchair, she's in a mental institution.
Right.
And he goes there. Oh. And he wreaks havoc in an insane asylum. And I've always thought insane asylums are naturally creepy places. And I've always had kind of a little bit of an interest in, not a little bit, I've always had an interest in insane asylums.
That's insane.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be really good just because the setting. But here's the part of it that makes me super excited. Guess who comes back?
Andy.
Nice. And he's one of the main characters.
Good. I like that.
He goes to the asylum to try to rescue her. And it's the original actor, Alex Vincent.
Good.
And I'm just like, oh, man. That's going to be awesome. Like, I really hope that he's a good actor. I don't think he's been in jack shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really hope he can pull it off, and it's going to be really good. I have high hopes. I'm like, ugh.
Regardless, I'll still go see it.
Yeah.
You know.
And we should definitely go together.
Yeah, we'll do an episode on it.
Yeah.
Must def.
It'll be out this year.
Cool.
I'm excited. What's your movie news?
My movie news is TV news.
TV news.
And this is, man, the most exciting thing that's happened to me in a long time. Brand new episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, really?
Came out tonight. It started 3 minutes ago, but I'm choosing to do the podcast instead of watch it.
You've got DVR, you know you do.
Yeah, but I can't watch it till tomorrow, and I didn't get to record it.
Yeah.
Dang it. But it's a new series called Dragon Ball Super, not Dragon Ball Z. But It takes place after the new movie that just came out. And it's already been released a long time ago, but in Japanese. And so tonight was the night that the English version came out.
Cool.
Finally. And so as a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, I'm like wetting my pants over it, dude. I'm so excited.
I totally respect that. I've never, I'll be honest, I remember a long time ago when you tried to get me into it, never really became anything. I'm never going to bash it because I'm a huge fan of like the old Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can totally respect that you love that show, and that's cool. That's awesome, dude.
I'm obsessed with it, dude. I just got 2 of the seasons on Blu-ray for my birthday. I'm so stoked. But yeah, and I can't wait to watch it. So for all you
Super Saiyan.
Oh yeah. So for all you DBZ fans out there, if you didn't know, which if you're a DBZ fan, you do know, but that just came out tonight as of the 7th of January. So heck yeah, that's my TV news.
Sweet, man.
Cool, man.
Cool.
The movie that we're going to be doing next week is going to be a romantic comedy, actually, and it is The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston.
It's a really great movie. I know that the listeners might be thinking, like, what the fuck? Why are you doing that? Like, it's not a new movie at all. It's not relevant in any kind of way, really. But the reason why is because it's a good movie.
Really good movie.
Yeah. And we haven't really done a movie like that yet. So,
well, my wife was saying, like, you know what I noticed about all your episodes? They're all like guy movies, kind of.
Yeah.
And she's like, when are you going to do like a chick flick? Or when are you going to do something that's like, you know, girls might enjoy listening to? And I'm like,
oh, okay.
Eventually. And then I just recently watched it on TV, and I was like, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why
especially
I
at the
texted
end.
you.
Man.
Yeah. It's
But,
a twist.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, so, that's what we're doing next week. And we might pair it with another movie. Not sure, but we're at least doing The Breakup next week.
Cool.
Anything else you want to say before we get into contact information?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, what's your contact information?
My contact information is I have a YouTube channel called Being Scared on YouTube where I narrate scary stories, both true and fiction. Please check it out. I would really appreciate it. Yeah.
Already hit over 1,000 subscribers, so good job.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I put a lot of effort into it. It would really mean a lot if you'd go check it out. If you're into horror, you know damn well that I am. You can email me at beingscared86@gmail.com. You can look me up on Twitter at being_scared. You can look me up on Instagram at being_scared. And if you want to, I'm not really too active on Facebook. I'm actually thinking about honestly deleting my Facebook account for Being Scared. If you want to, go right ahead. Just go to the search bar, type in Being Scared. That's it.
All right, my contact information is you can reach me on Twitter and Instagram at the same name, and that is moviemen_. I'm mainly on Instagram, but I definitely check both of them every single day. So if you need to hit me up for anything, just message me on there. So, cool. I want to give you a platform to talk about Stranger Things for a few minutes.
Okay.
Who's your least and most favorite character?
Least favorite character was probably the little kids. They all had moments, honestly, that annoyed me. Even the main one. Honestly, the one that really annoyed me the most was the kid that was just a little prick the whole time and like doubting 11 like the whole damn season. And at the end, he like kind of sees the error of his ways and gets back on track, and he's like cool again. Right. But I don't know. He just annoyed the hell out of me. They all kind of did. I can't really explain it.
I think that's a good thing though, because kids are supposed to annoy 30-year-olds.
Yeah, honestly, I liked watching the adults more. I mean, sue me, you know. But my favorite character was probably the officer, Hopper. I really liked him.
He was so good.
Yeah, such a great actor. And he's kind of like the hero of the show.
Him and 11 were the heroes.
Yeah. And, he's my favorite character. The show was fantastic. I binge-watched it. I didn't know what to expect. I just kind of winged it on Netflix. I really like the feeling of it. It's totally unique. It's like an 80s kind of like...
Yeah.
It's so hard to explain. You know what I mean?
It's an 80s sci-fi film or show.
I loved it.
What are a few gripes that you have?
The gripes are that it was only 8 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been cool.
I can't stand that 8-episode stuff anymore.
That would have been cool if it was at least 12. But, you know, whatever. Could have been worse. Could have been 6. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Another gripe is, I don't know. There was moments in the show that just kind of dragged on, like some stuff I didn't care about, just boring stuff. But most of it was pretty interesting. Honestly, a gripe was Winona Ryder.
Yeah?
Yeah. A couple of her, I don't know, like when the show first started, she was interesting to watch. And then as the show went on, she wasn't even close to my favorite character. Like, she would go on the screen and I would just kind of be bored. I don't know. Like, I can't really give too much backup to that, or it's just something I kind of remember. But yeah, I thought it was a really great show. The ending of the season was fantastic. And it was, such a cliffhanger. And I'm just like, holy shit.
What would you rate the first season?
First season, probably... Man, when I got to think about all the great shows out there, I got to rate it like a 3.5.
No way.
Yeah.
Man, I said 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude.
Go back and listen to the episode and you'll know why.
I did listen to the episode recently.
Yeah. Well, I I loved all the characters except one, and she was barely in it. And
I don't know.
It kept my interest the whole time. There were a few slow moments, as every show has, but it was spectacular. The story was cool. I'm like so looking forward to season 2, and I thought it was up there with Netflix shows.
I'm sorry. I mean, it was really good, but as good as Breaking Bad, as good as Friends, no, not even close.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, let me just clarify this for you and everybody else, in my opinion. Breaking Bad is the best show that's ever been and will ever be. Okay? I'm not joking.
But it is a show.
It's a show, but it's on its own platform. Nothing is comparable to Breaking Bad. So when I compare shows to other shows, I can't compare them to Breaking Bad because they'll never be as good.
That I disagree. If Vince Gilligan is genius enough to come up with that, there's got to be somebody that can stack up to it.
He came up with, Better Call Saul. That's the second thing he came up with, and that's a spectacular, amazing show. Better Call Saul is so good.
But not nearly as good?
If Breaking Bad is a 5.5, Better Call Saul is like a 4.5.
Okay.
It's like that good, and I really, really like that. So, there's shows that come close. You know what I'm saying? But Walking Dead, I know you don't watch it too much, and some seasons kind of have been but they're already on their 7th season. They're already 2 seasons more than Breaking Bad, and they're still like the number 1 show on TV. You know what I mean? It's just like you're invested. It's an amazing show. So that's close to Breaking Bad to me. It's not ever going to be Breaking Bad.
What would you think? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
I just had an idea.
What?
After the breakup, let's step out of the movie men for a second. Let's go to TV men, and let's do Breaking Bad.
Sure.
Want to do Breaking Bad?
Yep. Yeah, Breaking Bad.
I think that'd be a really good episode.
I'm down to do Breaking Bad.
Cool.
No doubt.
Awesome.
Anything last minute you want to say?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, everybody, thank you for listening to Movie Men, and remember to watch a movie, man. Have a good week, everybody.